Three, two, one. Oh, we're live now. Hi, hey, welcome back. This is Pastor Devin, and you're in the class Right on the Money, where we give biblical principles on how to have good stewardship of your money, because God wants you to have an amazing life. He wants you to be blessed, and He wants you to take care of it. But part of it, just like anything with God, is we got to do our own. We can't just expect money to fall from heaven or things that fall out of the sky. Now, God can bless you like that, and He will, because He wants to take care of you, but He expects you to handle what you're given. You know, to whom much you were to get a lot. Whoever is faithful with what God gives them, God will then bless them with more. We need to be faithful. We need to be good stewards of what God has. In the last couple weeks, couple sessions, not weeks, I've been talking about, budgeting, your priority list, your survival list, and then your needs list, and then your wants list, and how to make decisions between them. We've talked about some different budgeting programs you can do, and going from there, and how it's important to have a plan, because the biggest problem people have with their money is they get to the end of the month and like, where did it all go? And we need to put a name on every dollar. We need to know where everything goes. So tonight we're going to show you a hands-on example of how to do it. Now there are there are computer models, programs. We mentioned in the last session. You can look it up. The ones you could buy, like Quicken, Microsoft Money, QuickBooks, Mint, just a whole bunch out there. You can research it, and if you find one that you want to try, just let me know, and I'll just Facebook me, and I'll happy to walk you through it. And I do mine through QuickBooks, and every time my paycheck goes in, it automatically puts everything into these funds. So I know my money all has a dollar mark to it. Today we're going to show you how to do it in a very literal sense. We're going to use an envelope system, something that Dave Ramsey that advocates, and just to give you an idea how it works, and it'll help teach you. The idea is a budget teaches you to live within the limits that you have, and also let you show you what you have to do to get to the next level, or maybe some things you can cut out so you can have a better life and not be so stressed out. We don't want money to control us. We want to control the money. The money's dead. We're alive. Let's get control of our money. And so tonight we live in rural Pennsylvania here in Punxsutawney, so I'm going to give you an example based on the area here. Now you can, like I said, just an example tonight. And you can take those numbers and change them to whatever fits your budget. You can do math and do proportions and stuff. Or you have any questions, just ask me. I'll be happy, because every part of the country, it's different. Like one part of the country, hey, you can get a nice house for $150,000. You go to California, you can get half the size house for $600,000. But the money's different. It depends on where you live and all that. So I'm going to give you an example of where we live. And if you have any specific questions, feel free to type them in. I'll be happy to respond later on in the program or later on in the week, whenever. Some of you watch it afterwards and not when it's live, and that's fine too. And so we're going to base it on that. Here in rural Pennsylvania, you can get now here's the key, if you can stay clean, you can stay sober, you can do what God, and have a good work ethic, that's key, because, kind of hard to have a budget without having a job to fulfill the budget. And around here, if you can do that, you can find a job for about $12 an hour. Sorry, I had a knock at the door. Hello.
Do they have soccer ball practice?
So sorry for that. Someone knocked on there. So in order to do that, we base it on $12 an hour for 40 hours a week, which would be about $480. And we're basing it from a perspective of a single person. Now, you could be married, and then if both are working, you could kind of double that. If you both work a minimum wage job, it'd be a little about the same. We're trying to figure out what's just a ballpark figure to get someone started from, and if you're making more or less, you kind of see how the numbers go together. I do want to encourage you, if you are, a married family and you have kids, it might not be enough to live on, and we'll work through things. But there are government programs there that can help you, and it's okay to use them, because you know what, they're there for us. We pay taxes. Now, you shouldn't depend on that. You should try to get better in life, but those are things that help get us through different areas in life. So today we're going to just talk about different things. And before I get into that, one last thing. We've talked a lot about health insurance. And some of you have jobs that offer health insurance, which is wonderful, and it's great. But make sure that if your job offers health insurance, ask some questions about it. Don't just accept it. If you're making less than $15 an hour or less than $20 an hour as a family, you can actually get a lot of your health insurance free through different government programs, and even get money back. I do through the different systems. And so we want to make sure that we have those things that are in place. Now, sometimes your job, if it has 50 or more employees, have to offer you insurance, but see if they have to offer it for your whole family. You might find be able to pay less health insurance, but get free health insurance for your kids, and then you don't have to pay such a big premium. So always be willing to ask questions. That's the big thing about the money game, is don't just accept the status quo. Be willing to ask questions about certain things. So we're going to go ahead tonight, and so based on a $12 an hour week, and you times that by a 12-hour week, a 40-hour week at $12 an hour, you'll make about $480. And most people in this country are paid at bi-weekly. Now, some of you might be weekly, some of you might be monthly, but most people get paid bi-weekly. It means every 2 weeks. So if you take 480 times 2, you get $960 every 2 weeks. And you come on 1 second. Brother Kyle, I need you to come on in. All right, so sorry, we had a little discussion here. He's kind of part of the thing today. And so it's $960 every 2 weeks. And so you go online, and I did the tax calculation, what the basic tax would be if you were single, and the exemptions you would get and all that. And it gets you down to basically the $960, you'll have $786 left over. Boss.
Yes, sir.
Great. Do you have something for me?
Oh, I have some money for you.
You do. You have money. Oh, very good. This is exactly $786. Now, like I said, this example, depending on how much you make, could change. We're just trying to give you an example from that. And so we're going to show you how to separate your money and be a good steward of that. Now, I'm going to separate this out to make it a little easier for me as I talk to you. I hope I have it all right. Yep, there we go. Some fives and the ones. Wow, $786 look like a lot of money in front of you. And it can be if you use it wisely. What we want to do tonight is teach you where to put it, how to put it, and the secret to a budgeting system is you put your money where it's supposed to be. Then when your bill comes, you'll have the money to pay for it, and that's the key. And like I say, if you have an online program or like a computer program, you can set it up and it'll automatically move the money for you, and it's a great way to do it. But if you don't have that, or you don't trust that, some people don't, you can go to the bank, cash a check. This would be approximately what a $480 a week check every 2 weeks would look like. And so we have different accounts. So today, what's our first account?
Our God account.
Yeah, can you show them, please? All right, so the envelope system. So, like I said, I'm a Christian. I believe that, you got to pay God first. Because here's the deal. God, nothing on planet is ours. God owns the whole world, and he lets us borrow what we have. And if we give back to God, God promised the righteous will never be forsaken. They'll never beg for bread. And you can never go wrong with God. In my life, I've had some times where I've questioned, should I put God first? I don't have the money to do that. And then God tells me, well, do you trust me or not? And I have. And so many times in life, I've been like, okay, God, do I pay you or pay a bill? And I pay God, what happens? God comes and pays in some way to pay the bill or keep me going. And it's just amazing. I've seen it happen in life over and over and over again. That if you put God first, he'll take care of things. Sometimes things will happen right during the month, and you don't know how it happened. Someone will bless you, or a bill will go. I've had bills disappear. I call up and say, well, someone paid it for you. Isn't that great? I do see some comments coming. I can't quite read them. I will promise I will answer them after the service, after the show tonight, because Kyle's helping me do some illustrations tonight. So we will, if you're asking questions right now, just leave them there. I will answer them as soon as we're done. I see them popping up. I just can't quite read them in the glare in the screen. So the first account is God. I got to put God first. And so out of $960 every 2 weeks, that would mean that we would have to give God $97. Now, where do I get $97 from? He asks us for the first 10%, and he also asks us for offering. It says in Malachi that if we give God our tithes and our offerings, and an offering is anything above our tithe, that he will make sure that we are blessed, and that even the windows will burst open with what God blesses us with. Now, it might not always be money. It might be answers. It might be healings. God can bless in so many ways, but here's the key. He will never, ever let you fall down if you pick God first. Because here's why. If he does, what kind of example is that for you for God? I believe in God, but he's letting me be letting all these things happen. If we put our faith truly in him, doesn't mean we have to be perfect. We will make mistakes. I make mistakes. But if we try to put God first, and God knows that, that's why 1 John 1:9 is there. If we sin, he's forgiven us every single time. But if we continually have a good attitude of putting God first, God will make sure that we're always first in his eyes, and he will take care of us. And he says, try me on this in Malachi. He gives you, see if it works. It has always worked in my life. And I've had at least 3 times when I've been down to my last couple nickels, and then God does some amazing things. And so the first thing would be $97. So we take $96 for the tithe is 10%, and at least $1 for offering. So that's $97. You put it in the God fund. put it in an envelope, and you don't touch it. So you go to church and give it to God. Now remember, you're not giving it to the church. You're not giving it to the pastor. You're giving your offering to God for God to use it however He wants. Okay? And sometimes we think we're giving to a certain place or a certain person. No, we're giving it to God because He asked for it. And then we know what? If someone uses it wrongly, hey, that's their problem. But you know what? We just want to give to God and say, God, I want you to use this. And that's a very important attitude to have. We're not giving to a pastor. We're not giving to a ministry. We're not giving to a church. We're giving it to God because we are in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. You know, that's what it's about. We're not in a religion. We have a relationship. That's what I say at my church all the time. And you're giving it to Him. So now we got that taken care of in our survival list. The next thing is what, Kyle?
We've got rent coming up next.
Rent. So the law of that people teach you in budgeting is that 1/4 of your salary should go to rent or mortgage payment or things like that. In this area, you can find an apartment for around $450, and it's maybe $5. Sometimes I've seen even as low as $350. Now, how much you pay greatly determines on where you live and who your neighbors are, and that could also inspire you to get more education and go get higher in life, or to take a different job for different reasons. And those things are all important. So you put half of that away. So $480 for the month be $225. You put that in the rent thing. You're not going to use that until rent comes. Now your second paycheck, you will double that, and guess what? You have your rent taker. You don't touch that. You don't come out of envelope. If you have an online program, it doesn't come out of that account until you're ready to write the check for that. What's up next, Kyle?
Next, we've got utilities.
Utilities. Well, it doesn't do any good if you have a house if you don't have electricity, right? You want to have running water. You want that stuff. And these are part of your survival needs. That have to be the top of your budget. Depending where we live, somewhere between $100 and $150 can take care of the basic needs. I just set it at $120 because there's going to be some months of the year where you're going to pay more, and some months of the year you're going to pay less. You know, here in the winter, hey, this winter's been been a bear up here. And so the heating might be a lot more expensive now. But then you have spring and fall where you don't have to heat as much and don't have to cool as much either. And so it kind of bounces out. And you keep that money in there. And in months that you need more, hey, you build it up. And then guess what? You have months to pay for your extras. And then when you have lower months, you still leave the money in there. So when you have a month where you have more, you can pay for it. And so the suggested amount there was $60 there. So we will take that and put that in there. So your first paycheck, you divide that up. Next up.
The car.
Yeah, we need cars. People like to drive around. I encourage people to definitely live in their means on a car. You know, you might having the newest and greatest thing is not always the best idea. And cars are made to last a lot longer than they used to be. And so you want to look for if you can buy a car outright. That's the best way to go because you free up the money we're going to talk about right now. So I just personally bought a new car and I'm paying about $200 a month. And so half of that would be $100. I put that in there, and I have half my car payment. And when I have my next paycheck, I'll have my whole car payment, and I'll be able to pay that. And we put that aside. Next one.
And if you've got a car, you need car insurance.
That's right. Please do not drive around without car insurance, because you know what? You never know what could happen. And it's a very important thing. I know people try to get away with things, and that the law says we should have it if you have a car. So please be sure to follow the law, because we're not following the law of the land. Romans says we need to follow the law of the land in Romans chapter 13. So we need to do what God says and not try to skate around it. Because if we do, God can't bless sin. And so here we go. So we have car insurance. I have that at about $54 a month, a little over $600 a year for a single person. If you have two cars, it could change in a lot. We're basing on a single person and just from there. So here we go. So that would be $27 a month. So we put that. So half of it for our first paycheck, and we put that aside. Okay, now we've done that. What's next, Kyle?
I've got it. You've got it. We all need gas.
Yes, we need gas. Yes, we need to get places. And like I told you the last thing, when you're budgeting, don't just budget gas to go to work. You know what? If you want to go out to eat, or you want to go see grandma or a neighbor, or whatever's going on, you need to get there. Hey, every time you turn your car on, it costs money. And so make sure you budget for that. And I have about $80 a month, so we're going to put in $40 for the month, for half of that. Next up, please.
Oh, the food.
Food. Well, I don't know about you. Food's important. And, we like to eat. And in this food account, you want to put in money for that so you can eat. And the key thing about all these things, when you spend it, once you spend the thing, it's gone. So it'll teach you to shop better. Use coupons. Use the things. Hey, there's a buy one get one free. Hey, go think about things because and maybe the name brand isn't the thing you need to go for until you can afford to do that. Because we want to make sure that we're taken care of. And also there are government programs out there as well to help out families and things like that. And but only to help for a time period, and then so you can get on your feet and get yourself to a better position in life. Because so much better you can do things on your own. And so I budget about $200 there for a person. It could be, and that could include going out to eat. If you go out to eat a lot, you're going to find out you eat this food budget up real fast. So think about how often you would want to go out to eat and how often you want to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so we got some food money there, okay? And then at the end of the month, you have another set that goes in there. Kyle, what's next?
We've got the phone, TV, and internet.
Now this is an interesting thing here. It's a necessity today for people to have a phone, and maybe not so much TV or internet. There's a lot of ways to get TV. You can get free TV still. You can Netflix is cheap. Sometimes we think about entertainment, and we let our entertainment rule us. And when there's so many more things that we can do that we want to do, and then that bill comes and it just kills us. I know everybody loves to have a smartphone. Me, I don't have a smartphone. I have a little flip phone, looks like Star Trek. It only costs $25 a month. I get unlimited text, data, and everything. I don't have all the little bells and whistles, but hey, it works for me. For everybody's different. I understand that people love that thing, and that's fine, but you also got to think it costs money, so we need to budget for that. So I have about 150 in there, so we take out, so that'd be 75 divided by 2. So, 150 divided by 2 would be 75. So you put that away, because you know what? Some of you, if you lost your phone, you wouldn't know what to do. And so you want to budget for that. And that's just one area. Hey, if you want to maybe pay some other things, have some other things, hey, you may want to think about how much you're paying for a phone contract. Cricket, $35 or $45 at Walmart for a phone. Hey, think about some of those deals out there that might be a better idea. Next up.
Up next, we've got emergency.
Emergency fund. And this is something you need to have, okay? And it doesn't have to be funded a ton. I think when you get to $1,000, you can stop funding this fund. But you got to start somewhere because you will have emergencies in life. What could they be? It could be going to the doctor. It could be going to the emergency room. They could be somebody in your family who needs help, and you want to help them. How many times we go, I don't have the money to do that? Emergency funds can be a lot of different things, okay? And so I suggest having an emergency fund. At a budget level like this, I suggest about $20 a month. You do that a month, that's $240. In a couple years, you're almost up to $1,000 in there. And and if you need it, you have it. And you don't have to go, oh man, how am I going to go pay for this or pay for that, And you want to build up. You don't want to touch this until there is an emergency. And that's the key. This is not, because then if you touch it for something else, guess what will happen? When a real emergency comes, you're going to need to have help from somebody else. Next up, Kyle.
Health and personal care.
Health and personal care. This is one a lot of people don't think about. It's very important that we think about our health and personal care needs because these are things that kind of come up and we're like, wow, where'd the money go? You get sick one month, you need to go buy a $10 bottle of Tylenol. Hey, that's, it's not cheap anymore. It's other things like shampoo, oh, I need shampoo. Hey, that stuff adds up over time. And it's good to, why not prepare for that? Because it's not stuff we normally think of in our daily life about things that we need for shaving products. The list can go on and on. You want to think about those things. They really add up over a year's time. And so on this budget, I suggest right here about $30 a month. So that'd be $15 for our first paycheck. And that's $360 a year to take care of your personal needs. Could be, personally, also could be haircuts, Hey, they're not cheap anymore. And me, I get my haircut. I wait for the coupon to come online. I go down there. I pay about $15 for my haircut. But I have a fund for that, and I can get a haircut every 2 months, and I'm good to go. Some of you like to get haircuts even sooner. So you might want to. This is just an example budget. You can change it however you want to meet your needs.
Don't go out without these. We need clothes.
Another thing people don't think about. From time to time, you're gonna have needs. Shoes wear out. Me, I kind of, people joke around here, they know what day of the week it is by what shirt I'm wearing, because I kind of have like a pattern here. Kyle over there is laughing. This is my Monday shirt, typically, and just how it is. But we sometimes need some. We have something gets ripped, or we need something, or we need shoes, or different things. It's we might not we not spend more on clothes than we need, but we have a fund for it. It'll help ease the burden of that. And maybe if we, like I said, this fund and the health fund and the emergency fund, they can build up over time. So when you do have a need to go do that, it's there for you. So I suggest about $20 a month. In 5 months, that's $100. That can help with needs with that. And if you're a single person, that's great. If you're married, you kind of ease the budget on how your life is. And the next one, and the last one I have for tonight.
Lastly, we've got the fun fund.
Yes. Now, there could be other funds. These are, in my life, these are my main funds. My personal life. You might have a different story with that. But you got to decide, go back to the first episode. You got to decide what's important for you. Where do you want to go in life? And one of the things I tell people when I do budgets with them is make sure you save money to have some fun. Because if you're just working from paycheck to paycheck every week, and for the rest of your life, you're not ever having any fun, life really is terrible. We should enjoy life. We should plan for, to enjoy things in life and not have to struggle to do it. Oh boy, I wish I could go to that. If we have a fund for that, now we can't go willy-nilly and all that, but as you get further along in life and more money gets opened up, hey, you can add to the fund. And then you say, hey, I want to go do this, and it doesn't affect these other budgets. It doesn't affect your rent or your insurance. This is free money you can use to actually enjoy life, and you don't have to feel guilty about it because you've budgeted for it. God wants you to enjoy your life, and part of this whole process is to get you to the point where you control your money, and so you can enjoy life. Okay, because who wants to be bummed out all the time? No one does. So I suggest at this level to put about $15 every 2 weeks into that. That's $30 a month to start. You can always, and any of these funds can always be increased over time. Has everybody got them all? So out of that $786, that's after taxes and everything, then you have approximately $12 left over. Now you might think that's not a whole lot. Here's the cool thing. It's $12 that don't have to go anywhere. Isn't that great? Now here's the thing. If you put that $12 away, you do it twice a month, that's $24 a month times 12 months, that's $288. You know what that is? Christmas presents. You could buy for somebody. Occasional gifts that come up here and there you have to do for people. You can be generous with it. God wants us to be generous. And the more we're generous, the more generous He is with us. And here's the neat thing. Once you're done with your bi-weekly paycheck, 2 weeks later, what happens next?
You've been doing such a great job.
You're going to pay me again. Isn't that great? Another $786. And you go ahead and you fill your budgets up at the end of the month. Guess what? Your rent is full with $450, whatever your rent is, and you don't have to worry about scraping the money because you haven't touched it. Now that's the key. It takes discipline. Just like everything in this world, we need to work at it. We need to put effort into it, and God rewards effort. He wants to see if we'll do with what He gives us. He says, who is faithful in little will be faithful in a lot. And that's how God will bless you in that. So you take the money and you go around and you start putting it in the different envelopes, and you'll feel better about yourself. Now, will there be some months where it's a little tighter than that? Well, here's what the budget does. It allows you to look and say, well, maybe I need to tweak this. Or maybe I need to look at a different place to live. Or maybe a different type of car. Maybe I need to sell it and get a different car. Maybe I don't need so much phone. Maybe I shouldn't go out to eat as much. Or you might find the opposite. Now you control your money. I have more money to do more of the things I want to do. Remember, you get a job not just to pay your bills to live, but living is also doing some of the things you want to do. And I want to get you to that level. Key here is you put God first. Everything else always lines up. And you take this budget and you just kind of move it out. Now here's the really cool part. If you can do this on a monthly basis, now if it's a weekly, it's every 4 weeks. If it's bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. If you can do this on a monthly basis and learn to live within the limits of your money, here's the cool thing is, there's 52 weeks in a year. Or if you're getting paid bi-weekly, 26 pay periods in a year. 12 months times 2 is 24. That's not 26. There's 2 extra. And what it'd be like you found some hidden money. Oh, I hid it so much I couldn't find it myself. You will have 2 extra $786 a year that are unallocated funds you can use wherever you want. How about going on vacation? And if you watched 3 episodes ago, I told you how to use credit cards to get up to $1,000 to $2,000 free a year. Free. By the way, I just so you know, follow up on that. I got a thing in the mail. I was at a hotel, and they had on their back of their card, apply for our card, and we'll give you four free nights. And all you got to do is spend $1,500 in the first 3 months. Do you know what I did? I applied for it, and I put my tithe. I pay my tithe online, and then I pay my health insurance online. And in 2 months' time, I spent $1,500, and guess what I got? I got 35,000 points that I can now use to get 4 hotel rooms. Isn't that great? I already got half of my vacation stay paid for. So trust me, those things, it's a wonderful thing to do. And then if you can live within a budget, a 4-week budget, or a bi-weekly two pay budget, you can free up 2 checks a year, 2 full checks a year, to do whatever you want with. Wouldn't that be great? So I want you to control your money, not money to control you. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I know I put a lot out there. God, do you have any questions?
There's a lot of information covered.
Yeah, a lot of information. And I just wanted to show you in a way that you could actually see. Because I want you to be successful. And I want to see God bless you. Because you know what? God, He loves you. And He gave you the ability to do what you do so you can become your own person and be able to stand on your own 2 feet and have that satisfaction. You know what? That's a great thing to have. So if you have any questions, feel free to, like I said, type away. We're going to be posting this all week long. And so thank you so much for joining us tonight. Make sure I didn't miss anything. One last thing. Some of you out there might say, well, Pastor, I can't do that because I have a lot of debt. Yeah, a lot of Americans have a lot of debt. Now, one of the things you can do with that is you can have an envelope that has debt. And what you do is you line up all your debts. Take them from the biggest to the smallest. And you have to pay them because, if you don't pay them, at least the minimum payment, you're going to get nailed in interest. And God doesn't want that for you. So what you do is you work it out so you can pay the smallest one off as fast as you can. And as soon as you pay the smallest one off as fast as you can, then you use all that money, go to the next one, and try to pay off as fast as you can. You can start getting out of debt quicker and get out of that. And what we can do is, if you have any questions about that, I can show you a way to get out of that. But you got to then rework your budget. You got to have a plan. Sometimes you got to make some sacrifices. You got to say, hey, I'm going to eat peanut butter and jelly every day for lunch for a while till I get out of this. Hey, it's cheap. Okay, I'm going to give up my morning $4 Starbucks coffee. We don't got that here, and I don't drink coffee, but you make decisions that'll be best for you. And so we can talk about that next time if you like. And so thank you for joining us tonight. And this is Pastor Devin from New Beginnings Church, and this is Right on the Money. Have a great week.